Hey everybody, welcome to the Tabletop Spotlight. I'm Adam.
And I'm Matt.
We're from Bulls, and we're here to talk to you today about some cool tabletop news that's been happening this past week and upcoming this week. Yeah, so...
How you doing?
I'm alright, man. What have you been up to lately?
So, I have a very fun A to B to C to D kind of story.
Okay.
So...
Sit back, kids.
Right. You know, I'm going to start at B, because A is not that exciting.
Okay.
So, I was watching a video by Questing Beast on YouTube, and the video was about two game books. Ace of Aces?
Yeah, I saw this video where it's the Black Knight and the White Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, completely unreal. I didn't know you watched that.
That was this point B that I start with.
Okay.
So
it was a first person shooter.
It's basically
but it's knights.
It's a head-to-head. So the series is called like Warrior something. It's been a while, but basically the way the game books work, they're based off another series called Ace of Aces, which is a dog fighting game with two separate books. Right. And basically you read off numbers to each other based on your decisions, and there's a little key at the bottom, whatever, not important. It's very cool, very interesting, incredibly well designed for being books. Like you wouldn't think it would work. But
it does.
It does, and it's really neat. And go check out that video if you're interested to learn more about that. But it was written or developed or whatever by Joe Dever, I think the guy's name is, who also made a series of books called Lone Wolf, which are much more choose your own adventure style solo play game books, but there's like an RPG element. Yeah. There's hit points and equipment and weapons and monsters and combat and all that. And I had these books since I was, 5 or 10 or, somewhere in there. And I still have my originals. And I got an app version on my phone, so I was playing through. That is awesome. There. It was very, very good nostalgia. Yeah. So the last couple of days have been, they're really hard. Yeah. Because they're late 90s or late 80s, early 90s when games where it was like you versus the game, so you just die every third page.
Right. I remember the Choose Your Own Adventures books. Those were also fairly difficult if you didn't like doggy pages and double check your work or whatever. But so it's interesting that we both saw those videos completely independently of each other because YouTube algorithm knows us.
Yeah, it's not that it's not that unexpected. Just knowing our interests as well.
The way those books interacted, I thought was really, really cool because you could play essentially with the little key codes and stuff like that. You check your page numbers and compare and stuff like that. But it ended up being it was like a first person shooter. Yeah, but in book form. And when you say that out loud, you're like, that doesn't make any kind of sense.
It doesn't.
But it had art, and so it had the picture of what you would see as the player, and then it had a key code at the bottom, like a grid thing with keys and letters and stuff, and then you would reference that with the other person's, and it would tell you what page to turn to, essentially.
Yeah, at the bottom, it's if you want to turn left, go to this page. If you want to turn right, go to this page.
If you want to stop moving and, stalk them, do this,
And then if the other player says this number while you would choose this number instead, go to this page. Yeah. And that's how the book sort of interacts with each other.
But the fact that there's also a Lone Wolf series and now an app version of that, it seems really cool. I want to give that a shot now.
It's because I've written about Ace of Aces over on our main site, bellaoflostsouls.net, and I've written about the game books as well, the Lone Wolf series a couple times, maybe once or twice. I'll squeeze it in where I can. Right. But there's a lot of fun. They're really... if you're that sort of gamer, they're very nostalgic. Yeah. I highly recommend, and I don't even think the books themselves, I don't think they're too expensive to pick up.
Yeah, I've seen a couple in used bookstores before.
There's the Lone Wolf series specifically has maybe 20 books in it. Yeah. Because there's the initial series, and then your main character, because you're playing this whole character, the same character the whole time, and then they level up and become a Grand Master Kyle Lord, and a story, and then
it's cool too how they were basically It was a campaign system, like because you're supposed to play the same character throughout.
Yeah, you level up, you gain new abilities, you keep your equipment from one book to the next.
Super cool.
It's what got me into role playing as like a concept.
Yeah,
and
it's super cool.
Very exciting, and I'm glad to.
Yeah.
I still have my original copy.
Yeah, that sounds like a good week of gaming right there, man.
All right, well, what about you? What have you been up to?
Yeah, so my gaming group and I have been chewing through the Innsmouth conspiracy campaign for Arkham Horror, the card game.
Shocking.
Which I know you are, you know how much I love that game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I gotta say, too, of all the campaigns that we've played, I haven't finished it yet. We just finished up the 5th out of 8 missions.
Just in the Innsmouth one.
In the Innsmouth one,
Gotcha.
It's been a really good campaign thus far. I gotta say, we had a couple of missions that were super close calls. We finished this last mission on literally the last possible action before we would have flipped over the mythos and doomed out and lost.
So it's just really well balanced.
It feels like they did a really good job of balancing it. The different scenarios that they've come up with, it's been a really good experience for Arkham.
Cool.
We're also playing with a player that had never played a full campaign before. So, and we've got a couple of other really veteran players, and we've got this
Right.
completely new player, and we're able to like really work together and everything, and everybody seems to be having a really good time with the campaign.
That's what's important.
And the character concepts, the different investigators we're using. We didn't have like a plan or anything other than like, hey, what type of investigator do you want to play this time? I want to be the Guardian. I want to be a Seeker. I want to be a Rogue. You know,
Do you keep the same character over the whole campaign?
over the whole campaign, most of the time, especially in the early missions, it's typically a measure of success or a fail forward system where you will keep playing through the campaign even if you lose the mission. It's a measure of
Gotcha.
success, so you may only get like a third of the rewards instead of the full rewards, or if you fail really bad, you might take some physical or mental trauma that will make it harder later.
Okay.
So it's been a really cool campaign. We've been able to kind of XP farm a little bit in scenarios, which is where we're just kind of like, we have extra time, let's hang out and do stuff. And we've had other scenarios where it's literally been, like I said, skin of our teeth, final turn of the game, literally last action to score the win. So
That's fun. I never would have really considered the idea of like grinding for XP in a board game or a card game.
yeah,
But it makes sense. It just it wouldn't occur to me.
the way the XP in that game works too is sometimes there'll be a location with 4 or 8 clues or something on, like, and if you clear the location of clues at the end of the game, it's worth 1 victory point.
Sure.
It's not every location, and sometimes you have to measure your greed for XP versus the
Right.
mission objective,
Yeah,
because there was a situation in the game that came up that if we had stuck around to try to get the last clue off of that 1 XP card, we would have lost.
Sure.
Because it's again, measure of success. Do you really want to push your luck and see how greedy you want to be, or do you want to like...
Arkham Horror in general, because I play a lot of the Arkham Horror board game, it's always been very risk versus reward, just sort of broadly speaking. With and it's been a while since I played the Arkham Horror board game.
Yeah.
But there was always like, you could go through this portal or this gate to go to wherever, and the encounters there are a lot harder, but the rewards are a lot greater.
Yeah.
Or you just go to Dreamlands and it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
A nice stroll through the Dreamlands.
Yeah, they do a really good job of threading that needle. I feel like they've gotten the Innsmouth campaign's not the most recent one, but it's pretty far along in the
overarching story?
Not the story, the campaigns, like the number of campaigns, like this.
Oh, just in terms of release schedule.
Yeah, I forget if there's like 6 or 7 campaigns out by this point, but Innsmouth is one of the later ones. So they've really got the design team. It feels like the design team really has found their groove with this one so far. I might get to the last mission and say it was the worst experience ever, but I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. It's been a lot of fun so far. And they really did a good job of capturing the story of the Innsmouth, Shadow over Innsmouth. You're kind of playing not not the same story, but it's like an alternate version of that story, or like an adjacent to that story.
Right. While someone else is wandering around wondering what's up with these people's eyes and mouths,
Yeah.
someone else is doing the same thing.
Yeah. Well, like this, I don't want to get too deep in the woods with the spoilers or anything,
Sure.
but it's you basically are doing a little flashback scenarios, and then you're coming back to the present as you recover your memories. It reminds you like, oh, we fought that thing, or we killed that thing, and like, oh yeah, I got my memory wiped because magic and stuff. They did a really good job storytelling wise. The missions have been flowing really well, and it's been a lot of fun. A segue to that.
Sure.
The newest campaign is coming out soon, and that one's called, I believe, the Scarlet Keys. And they've already released the Investigator Pack, and the campaign pack is coming soon. If it's not, I don't know how the release is working with that, but I thought they released them at the same time, but I didn't get the campaign pack yet. I got the Investigator Pack, which is really cool. But they have a tie-in novel series. FFG's been doing...
Yeah, you've read a bunch of those.
Yeah, I've read almost all of them. I think I'm only missing 2. They're softback books. I think it's Aconite Publishing or something like that is the one. They're softbacks, sure. Whatever.
I've seen them.
Yeah. You'll find them in the bookstores. They're quick reads typically. They're a couple hundred pages, but it's very fast. They're not like this isn't Lord of the Rings.
Because I've only ever seen I haven't opened or flipped through them, but they looked kind of thick, but not.
They are thick, but it's okay.
I'm a slow reader. I have to read the same page a couple times before it finally sinks in.
They have they had to plan this, but the book that I just finished reading was called Secrets in Scarlet, and it is the campaign is called Scarlet Keys, and the characters in the book, it's actually an anthology book, so it's like 6 or 7 stories in the one book, and it's different authors each time and different characters.
That's fun.
Well, there's not completely different characters, but spoiler free here.
Yeah. A lot of anthologies have a character show up.
Yeah, exactly. But there's a special group called the Red Coterie who all wear some piece of red on them, and they are like this group that is collecting these things called keys. Yeah, Matt. And they are collecting these keys to maybe help and or hinder some stuff to protect people, but maybe not. And then there's a government group called the Foundation. The U.S. government has a secret organization designed to do the same thing, but for the government. And then there's another set of players that are also in this international chess game trying to collect all these keys. Right. And it has to tie into the campaign because the other campaign is called Scarlet Keys. So I feel like
it feels like this is an MCU getting built.
Yeah, it definitely feels like if they did this on accident, it's a really nice coincidence, but it also feels like this is a very marketing synergistic kind of a thing. And I'm hoping that having read the novel, I'll be a little bit better equipped for the Scarlet Keys campaign, because it is one of the only campaigns where you are going to be globetrotting and I don't mean like going from Arkham to Paris like they do in a couple of adventures. I mean like going around the globe to different locations to do different things. It's one of the first campaigns where it's almost non-linear in where you can go. You don't have to go from A to B to C. You can go from A to C to G to back to B type of a thing.
That's fun.
So,
I like that.
I'm looking forward to that campaign, but for right now, I've had a ton of fun with Inzon.
All right. No, that's very exciting. It's reminding me of, have you ever read or been aware of any of the the Five Nights at Freddy's novels?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it might be trying to duplicate the success of those novels, but
I don't know. I've watched a lot of Matt Pat's videos on FNAF.
Because maybe we have the same YouTube feed. Maybe that's what's going on.
I can't play those games, not because I'm scared of them, but I don't have time.
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them, and especially if you want to get in all the weeds with all of the stuff. I found out Inscription had a whole crazy ARG thing.
No spoilers. It's on my list. I will definitely play it one day. I'm going to finish Jaws of the Lion.
No, you're not.
Then I'm going to finish Inscription.
No. Inscription is crazy, y'all.
Yeah, I've heard very bonkers things about it.
Yeah. Once you finish the game,
it
ain't over.
I bought it. I just haven't started it.
Yeah, had a friend tell me, "Hey, this card game is really cool. I think you'd like it." And I saw some playthroughs like, that's an interesting mechanic. And then it got crazy. It gets crazy if you whatever. Anyway,
we're getting really off topic.
But getting back on topic, we have some really cool board games we want to show off. So let's check them out. All right, we're back with some awesome board game goodies and tabletop stuff from our friends at Dragon's Lair Comics and Fantasy. They are the ones that have hooked us up with the stuff that we're about to show off here on the Tabletop Spotlight.
Not quite board games.
Not quite. Tabletop games.
Tabletop games.
There are
some board games. Okay, I take that back. There are some board games.
We got a good mix today, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what are we starting with?
We're going to start with some Star Wars Legion goodies. There's new releases this weekend. There's the IG series robots. I almost said IG-88s, but
I mean that's the only IG droid I know.
There's like IG-55s, IG-3000s. I don't want to get into it. There's a lot of them. They're assassin droids.
Sure.
They're out now. They're for Star Wars Legion. There's also the Mandalorian and Baby Yoda. I don't actually know their real names anymore. But that's what I call them.
I've never seen any of The Mandalorian.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think I would like it. I just haven't. I don't watch a lot of TV.
It's Lone Wolf and Cub, but not. Anyway.
Well, if it's Lone Wolf, I'm all there.
Dragon's Lair is actually one of the top Asmodee stores in the U.S., and they have a special promotion going. If you go in and buy Din Djarin and Gru, a.k.a. The Mandalorian and Yoda, Baby Yoda, you can also get an alternate sculpt of Baby Yoda. How cool is that? So it's just a slightly different version of Gru.
Do you get any minions?
Not that kind of Gru. Goru. I don't know how to say it. It's Baby Yoda.
Grogu, right? Grogu. Yeah.
I never watched it either. I gave up on Star Wars.
It's fine.
But yeah, I actually do like the miniatures game. I just Baby Yoda and the Mando. It's cool. It's an alternate version. I think people saw
really neat.
The alternate sculpt before and were wondering what's up with that. So it's just a special edition version. So.
Very cool. I like when there's just little extras like that. You know, you don't need them, but if you want them, they're there.
Again, most stores are going to have the regular version. Great. And then if you happen to be in one of the premium stores, you can get an upgrade.
Yeah.
So
or swing on over to Austin, Texas.
That's right. Matt, what do you got?
No segues.
Transformers. Boom.
This is the Renegade Games Studio Essence D20 system for Transformers role-playing game.
I think it's just Essence 20.
What did I say?
D20?
It uses it so D20. Close.
Yeah.
I was trying to get all the terminology right, but
it's a mouthful.
It is. Well, there's a lot of terms that I wanted to mash into that opening sentence. But the Essence 20 system is one that we've seen before with G.I. Joe.
I think also the
Power Rangers I think also is the same system.
It's almost like Renegade got the rights to a bunch of these really awesome 80s and 90s and early aughts.
I mean, it's a good way to play. It's a good strategy.
And if you could only mash them all together and have an awesome role-playing game.
Now that they're all under the same Essence 20 system, you can.
All right.
So basically, Essence 20 is... at its core, it does use a D20, but the main driving mechanic on like dice decision making is you have your D20, which you will always roll, but then everyone also has their skill die for each of the various skills and then specializations and things like that. And you are rolling a D20 and your skill die, which can be D4, 6, D8, D12. Maybe D1. Did I miss D2? You got the idea. The skill die can be of varying...
The other polyhedral dice.
Right, the other sizes of dice.
Yeah. I think there's even a D2, but don't quote me on that.
That's just a coin.
Yeah.
But either way, you add them together, and that's what determines your ultimate die roll of success or failure. Mm-hmm. And then there's a system wherein if you have certain specializations, you get to roll your skill die and every die that is smaller than it, and then pick the highest amongst them as sort of like a super advantage.
Yeah.
It's a really cool, streamlined system. And then there's for criticals, if you max out any die, you get to, you get to do a critical hit.
Or critical success.
Critical success.
Reroll the die and add it.
And it's a system that is very... what's the word I'm looking? I don't want to keep calling things cool. I'm trying to expand my vocabulary, but it is really cool. It's just a very interesting way of doing things, which is going to have high variance because you're rolling 2 dice. But then based on how good you are at the thing, your dice is going to change, which is just a really, I can't think of any other system that really does it that way.
Yeah, obviously the big comparison here is going to be, 5th edition D&D, right? 5e, that rule set. The difference here is instead of having a flat static bonus of 1, 2, 3, 4, you've got this die, which can go, up to a D12, and then if that crits, you could theoretically get 2 D12, which could be, 24.
Right.
So
it really has a high variance.
Yeah, you could do a DC 30 check on somebody that's got like a D10 and a D20, and they could crit and get it. So you could have those target numbers can be very, very broad.
Yeah,
which is in the book. It covers a lot of that stuff. But at its core, it's Transformers. You get to play as an Autobot.
Oh, right. This one specifically.
Yeah, whatever. There's rules in here for all of the different classes and different types, different sizes of Autobots, too. Sure. If you want to be a big, semi-truck trailer for some reason, or a little, go-kart.
I'm going to be a tape recorder.
Yeah. I mean, there's all very big variants, almost like the die, of different classes and stuff in here. There's, I think it goes up to level 20 as well, and you get different bonus points depending on different stat points that you can place into your 4 main skill trees. And I'm going to mess one of them up, but it's strength, speed, social, and...
Strength, speed, social, smarts.
And smarts. Thank you.
I got
smarts. You got them. See what we did there. But yeah, it's a pretty cool system. It's very... If you've played other RPGs, you're going to pick up that system very quickly.
And I think you kind of really nailed it with, you can have, like, at potentially level 1, a DC 30 check, and you can still go for it.
Yeah.
And it's within the rules that you might get it. Like, luck might just fall in your favor, and, and I really like that is an option. A lot of, your 5e and such is like, that is an impossible task. Yeah. But I like the fact that it is slim, but there's a chance. And I like that.
This is full color, obviously, like great artwork. If you're a fan of Transformers, this has just got so much eye candy in here too. The amount of detail it goes into, it has a whole section on like the pre-Earth Autobot Decepticon stuff where you can go into like
when they're on their planet.
Yeah, Cybertron. There's a lot of lore in here, a lot of background. It's designed. Cool. There's also an introductory adventure for first level characters. So if you just want to roll out and play that, you can. So it's a neat book. $55. And again, because it uses the same system as the other Renegade books, you can kind of do like a super mashup.
That must have happened at some point in the 80s.
In the comics.
In the comics.
Sure. All the G.I. Joe Transformer comics. Yeah, it was a thing.
I mean, as soon as Archie met the Punisher, all bets were off.
Pretty much. You want a comic crossover, Renegade Studios.
That is Transformers. Let's move on. There's so much other stuff.
Let's talk Spelljammer. So real quick, Spelljammer, the Icons of the Realm rando boxes are out. But the reason I'm showing this one off and not something else...
I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, it's because the other boxes were too big. There's the standard box minis out here, the little booster packs. There's also a Spelljammer, Adventures in Space, Adult Solar Dragon, and Prince Zelith, which was a very big box.
Do we have... No, I don't know where it is. It's probably...
The Spelljammer book?
Yeah. Oh, well,
I think it's back behind the thing. But there's also an Astral Dreadnought Gargantuan miniature. And when I say Gargantuan miniature, I mean bigger. It was too big. I couldn't fit it in the bag that I normally pack all this
stuff. It's one of those big IKEA bags, not to pull back the curtain.
But it's a very large bag. I could not fit that in the box with... It was too big, and
I'm very upset because I haven't seen this. I've only heard Adam talking about it when he got here today.
That mini, this one right here, that one, but it was Very, very
I'm
large.
so jealous.
Yeah.
I'm gonna swing by Dragon's Lair on my way
Yeah,
home.
you should check it out. It's a ginormous box. I mean, we have the White Dragon from the Frost Maiden adventure up there.
Here, what the
hell?
Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah, so it's this, like, the Astral Dreadnought is on par with the White Dragon. It may be bigger. I don't know, but it's
right.
large.
This is a
That's
huge...
a gargantuan. Yeah. And it's that size. Very well detailed, very cool miniature, but I was just kind of grabbing the box to be like, yo, Spelljammer minis are out, and there's a ton of them. There's even Flapjack, which is a flump with a hat, which is great. A little guy with
all right.
Character.
Cool.
Anyway, these are out. The booster boxes are $19.99, and the big boxes are even more than that because they're ginormous.
Yeah, that's fine. I like the Astral Dreadnought a lot. It's a cool looking monster.
Yeah.
Speaking of cool looking monsters.
Monster trains.
Yeah, so this is Ultimate Railroads.
Body slam the train.
Which is Suplex It.
Suplex It, yep.
Yeah. So this is a...
It has nothing to do with suplexing.
No, it's Final Fantasy. This is a combination box. There's a word I'm looking for that I'm not getting. But it is... Russian railroads along with German railroads and American railroads and Asian railroads, a brand new expansion and a solo mode and something else. There's a lot of if you have played the Russian railroads game,
any of the other ones,
right? Or any of the other ones. This is all of it in one box. This game is basically if you took Ticket to Ride and cranked it up to 12 even.
Yeah.
It's
a monster combo box. I see why you're going with the monster there.
It's a worker placement network building game of, you have your trains that you're building, but then there's also the factories that you have to get and the technology you have to develop, and you're starting with basic railroads and then you can upgrade them, and it's it is a very mechanically dense and heavy game. Yeah. So if you're looking for and you can see this is also a hefty
box.
Yeah, this is a big boy for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you're looking for a strategic rail building kind of, if that's just like your theme, if you just really like Ticket to Ride but just wanted something a little crunchier, Russian railroads and now Ultimate Railroads.
That's a really good way to put that, actually. If you liked the mechanics of Ticket to Ride but wish there was just more accoutrement to go with it.
Yeah. This is exactly what that is, and it was very highly rated on Board Game Geek, so take that also for what it's worth.
Yeah, it's from Z-Man Games. They make good stuff, so it's a hefty box for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very cool stuff.
Oh, it even says so on the back. High complexity.
Yeah, very, yeah.
So, there you go. Russian
What's
Ultimate
the playtime on this one, I wonder?
40 minutes per player, so that's actually not that bad.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
Well, I mean...
It's per player. It's 1 to 4 players.
If you're playing 4 players, that's still several hours.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. It's at least a couple hours.
Even still, if that all sounds good, check out Ultimate Railroads.
Yeah, very impressive stuff. Speaking of very impressive stuff in RPG land, Epic Encounters is back with another set of Epic Encounters. Matt, I'm a huge fan of Epic Encounters.
Understandably.
From Steamforge Games. And the reason I'm such a big fan is because they do such a good job. Yeah. The way Epic Encounters work, and I've said this before, you get your 2 adventures in the box, or 1 in each, and you get a bunch of really cool minis. This box is the Island of the Crab Archon, contains 21 miniatures, a double-sided adventure map, the adventure book, which I'll get into in a second, with monster stats and everything like that, and then also in the book it's got tips for how to use this. The miniatures are really fun. Again, there's 21. There's some repeating miniatures in here, but the Crab Archon is really cool. Both of these boxes are completely 5e compatible, and the adventure book actually gives you a lot of really cool ways to integrate it into whatever campaign you're doing. There's a big page full of like adventure hook options. There's stat blocks for different low, medium, and high tier games. There's just a lot of ways to integrate these into your games, and the miniatures are great. I have a bunch of these sets at home that I've used in my games for all of the the bad guys, you'd always run into goblins, orcs, kobolds, that type of stuff.
Yeah, there's been a lot of different epic encounters for different monster types because there's always a theme.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is clearly aquatic.
Yeah, exactly. This is the aquatic venture. If you needed, I'm surprised they didn't do Sahagwan, but there might be a copyright thing. But Crabfolk is also really cool.
That could be it.
Yeah, but they have stats in here that's all 5th edition compatible. But it's really, and again, there's a couple of like mini boss looking dudes. There's the actual big boss, and then there's just little goon guys, which is great.
Actual big boss.
And then there's the full on Cove of the Dragon Turtle, which is kind of the capstone to these 2 adventures. You don't have to play them in that order, but it's kind of recommended. You can play through the first half and then do the back half here. Again, more of the same. This includes a giant Dragon Turtle miniature on a 100mm base, so a big old base.
Yeah.
It's got tokens that you can use if you don't have this box as well. Double-sided encounter map, an adventure book to do the same stuff in here, monster stats, all that fun stuff. They both come unpainted. The miniatures inside are unpainted, so if you want to paint them, you can. You don't need glue to assemble them, but this one I think kind of maybe will snap together. But all you really need is dice and your friends to start
and then
playing.
Characters to play.
Yeah, this box is $54.95, and then again 21 miniatures in here plus all the extras. This is $49.95 with the big miniature in here and all the extras that I talked about here. Again, you get the battle mats that are double sided. You get all the miniatures in there. There's other stuff that comes out from other companies that comes unpainted, and you don't get any of that extra adventure stuff. So that's why I'm a huge fan of the Epic Encounters, and I highly recommend it.
It's so good. Epic Encounters is fantastic for the price point. Like, it is a great... it's not a starter kit, but it's like one step up from... a couple steps up from a starter kit. Like, if you're done with, the Lost Mines of Foundelver or whatever, and you want just like a little bit more adventure in a box, like Epic Encounters is the way to go.
It's not gonna hold your hand like the starter boxes will, but it'll give you enough to, if you've run one of those before, it'll give you enough rope that you can build your own raft, essentially.
Absolutely.
They're really, really good. If you're a veteran DM and you just you're spent for the week and you don't have time to repair anything, these will totally save your bacon.
No, that's true.
I have used them for that very reason, and they're great. So, and again, it's basically a 2-shot adventure. If you want to stretch it out further, you can. If you wanted to just drop it in the middle of your campaign as an interesting side quest, you can.
Random encounter table.
Random encounter, Dragon Turtle. Yeah. Do it. I mean, that's awesome. So, Epic Encounters, go check them out. Steven Forge Games.
All right, next up, I have Ready, Set, Bet, which is a horse racing game. Like, there's not really...
but you're not horse racing. You're betting on the horse.
Right, you're betting on the horses. Like, this is as close as I've been able to find for just, like, a betting game in its purest form.
Yes.
The horse, the board you are playing is just like a betting table. The horses run themselves. I mean, not like run themselves, but like it's all the randomly generated dice horse racing. So it really is just the betting side of it, which is so fun. I love the idea of just like, no, I don't want to do the actual racing. I just want to bet on it. I want the fun part of going to the horse race.
Yeah. I'm not racing. I'm not the jockey here. I'm just the dude throwing money on the table to see if I can make some money.
Yeah, for whatever reason, when I was growing up, my parents took me to the horse racing track a lot.
And that started a lifelong gambling addiction.
It was fun. It's just it's an enjoyable experience. It's when you win and rooting for your horse and
dopamine hit.
Exactly. Yeah. And it is, I mean, that's what this is in a box. It is very streamlined gameplay because you don't have to worry about your horse's stats or whatever. Like, that's not your horse. It's someone else's horse. You don't
worry about the jockey or anything.
Yeah. So that is Ready, Set, Bet. It is a very fun, interesting theme that I haven't really seen anywhere else. Yeah,
it does have an app option as well, but it looks like also the board looks like
it's a betting table.
It's a betting table.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you have a gambling addiction problem, please seek help. But if you don't and want to...
if you don't, pick up Ready, Set, Bet.
Maybe play this instead of your gambling addiction and don't use real money.
Okay, good. Smart.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah. Gameplay on this one is about an hour. It seats up to 9 players, too, which is a lot of fun.
I mean, that makes sense. There's not... I mean, because everyone can bet on multiple horses.
Yeah, and it's ages 10 and up. So, I mean, depending on your state laws... No, I'm just kidding.
All right.
But, yeah. $30, $39.99. Go check it out.
Very cool. All right, and then last one, real quick, is American Psycho a killer game. This is a trick-taking game where trick-taking is, having...
Spades.
Right, spades. You got a suit, but then there's like a killer suit, as they call it. But basically, that's the core foundation. But then on top of that, each round is a meeting, and you're competing over who has the best stuff. So each of
business
the
cards.
Right, each card you're playing is like your business card or a club you got invited to, or
dinner reservations.
Dinner reservations, things like that. And it's just, it's taking this really simple game mechanic of like a Trump taking game, but then theming it in such a way that it is a little more enjoyable than perhaps Spades is on its own.
It's funny too because it also follows the movie. Like it's the scenes themselves are based on the scenes in the movie, and there's also a literal psycho mechanic in here as well.
Right. So occasionally, because every player in the game is potentially a killer, and every once in a while you will have to draw a dead body card, which is worth negative points. But if you accumulate all and then the most dead bodies and are the killer, then you end up winning. So if you start picking up a few of these dead bodies, maybe you just lean a little harder into that. There's multiple ways of winning, and I really like the idea that at some point, as the player, you're going to have to acknowledge, all right, I'm going off the deep end and just going for it.
Psycho killer. Yeah, it's...
Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Yeah, American Psycho. I can't believe this is a thing, it actually seems pretty fun.
No, I agree. It's I never would have expected there'd be an American Psycho board game.
Not like this. Like,
right.
I picture like, something that's more like asymmetrical with somebody's being the psycho killer, and or like a mafia style,
your Fury of Dracula.
Yeah, like trying to catch them, or like, something like that, not a trick-taking card game with a murderer on top.
Yeah, and
who's the murderer on top?
It's Renegade Game Studios, with Transformers. They are good at their jobs and can apply any theme to any system. I
really like the sound of this one. Is very interesting. It is designed for ages 14 and up for obvious reasons. It supports 2 to 5 players. Game time is about an hour, and it's $29.99. So go check that one out as well. Mm-hmm. American Psycho, a killer game.
And that's all I got.
Yeah, that is everything this week. And again, big shout out to our friends at Dragon's Lair Comics Fantasy. You can find all this stuff there this weekend, as well as the giant Abyssal Dreadnought, Astral Dreadnought, which is crazy big. I'm trying not to oversell it, but it really is big.
It's not infinitely big as it's supposed to be.
They ran out of plastic.
I know.
No. That's really cool stuff. But again, all the stuff is available this weekend, and that's going to be it for the show today. Mm-hmm. Thanks so much for joining us. I am Adam.
I'm Matt.
We're from Bowls, and this has been the Tabletop Spotlight. Thanks for watching.
Bye.